everybody. Thank you for joining this code security live stream. I really appreciate you joining. And this week is Security Awareness Week. This month is Security Awareness Month. And for this week, the theme is about sharing and helping others who want to get into cybersecurity, give them some knowledge, share some information. And so in honor of that, we want to share information with developers. Majority of the time, we didn't go to school to learn how to be cybersecurity experts. We learn how to code and to build innovative things. And so oftentimes we aren't sure or we aren't taught the best secure coding practices. And so this is why we do this stream, and in honor of sharing and trying to help those be aware of how to be smart online. We want to help developers do the same. And this week, we're going to talk about the 7 reasons why an engineer needs to secure their code and how to incorporate that into your secure coding practice if we have any security professionals watching today. And then also on Twitter, we will continue the conversation on Twitter. If you go to twitter.com/HacWare1, we will continue the conversation about secure coding best practices and poor practices. And I'm Tiffany Ricks. I'm the founder and CEO here at HacWare. We help developers to build powerful security training applications in minutes. Our platform provides insights on risk, and we help you build hyper custom training in minutes. So let's jump right in. I'm really excited, and so the article. Every time we do a tech talk, we give you a how-to instruction guide on what to do step by step. You can find that on HacWare.com, so resources.hacware.com on our blog. You'll see the tech talk for this week. Again, we're talking about the 7 reasons why your developers, your engineering team should protect your resources and how you can incorporate and teach them in your security awareness program. This is important because security awareness is a way to educate on the threats of phishing and ransomware. We also want to make sure that we are teaching our developers how to understand the threats to application security. And I want to show you an example of what happened a couple of weeks ago. This is a clear example of why developers need to be aware that their coding actions do matter, and it could cause the organization huge pain, losses due to those actions. So I'm showing you here a tweet from a governor who they had to have a press conference on a breach. And one of the key things that I saw here was it's saying that there was HTML source codes. Well, first of all, I'm a super nerd. HTML does not have source code. It's not encrypted into byte code. It's written in plain text. And so a engineer had social security numbers in HTML plain text right on the website. It isn't much decoding that needs to happen here, or they made it super simple for cyber criminals or anyone to get access to social security numbers by just viewing the page source. But so this is a reason why code security is important to us. We should know as developers that when we're building web applications or applications in general, this proprietary information shouldn't be in the file. And so the 7 reasons why. First reason, I want to tell you a way that you can protect your code repository. So developers should be thinking about the code that's in their repository. Does it have sensitive information in it, like secret keys? It shouldn't. And what I want to show you here is this is a common thing that actually happens. Developers unknowingly will check in passwords that are hard coded in the code. They may also check in key stores because they haven't explicitly went into the repository and stated to ignore it. And so when those secrets are in a repository, your malicious actors can easily find it by scanning these repositories. And this is what happened in 2019 and in 2020. There was there were hundreds of public Git repositories that were taken for ransom because there were plain text passwords and key stores right in the source code. And so what I'm showing you here is there are code repository scanners that will work as that. It will scan the code, look to see if there are keys in it, and then it will send you a notification, or it will send an alert letting you know that this sensitive information is in the repo. So this is reason number one. Reason number two, password management. Along the lines of keeping passwords and secrets out of the repo, let's keep them out of the code. So making sure that your code isn't hard coded with plain text passwords in it, or even encrypted passwords. They shouldn't have passwords in it. And a good example of this was a malware attack that happened in 2019, where the goal for this malware was to scan devices. And so they realized that a manufacturer had passwords, passwords hard-coded, embedded into the devices, and this malware was able to find this password and then exploit over 400,000 devices. So we have a tool here where we're showing you how you can use Bandit. Bandit is a static code analyzer where you can scan your Python code. It looks at Node.js code and many others, but Bandit is a great tool that you can use to scan your code. And as a security awareness professional, the best way to train your users as a part of your security awareness program is with newsletters. Make sure that your newsletters are, your developers have an additional newsletter that talks about some of these things to look out for. The newsletter could be in the form of an email mailing. It also can be in the form of just a Slack alert that comes up periodically that educates your developers on these seven plus things to do to protect your code. And so those are some tips as a security awareness professional on how you can make sure that your engineers are getting the information that they need. And as a plug for HacWare, our secure code training in our platform, it sends a pop quiz to the engineers about a security engineering question, and then it has a video and it ends with a pop quiz. So for the reason number three for developers, reason number three, dependency security. I know you hear this all the time. Make sure that your dependencies are up to date. And what is important is we're moving very fast as developers, and oftentimes when there's a new update for a dependency that requires us to change our code, this is important to make sure that you're updating, and because those updates are oftentimes plugging a dependency vulnerability. And what I'm showing you here is you can quickly scan your code. There's so many dependency scanners. I have one here that's by OWASP. And this is a great tool that will show you all of the vulnerabilities in your dependencies. What is the next version to upgrade to? And it's just a great way. It's a great tool. You can actually incorporate it as a part of your continuous integration policy, where you could run this scan prior to checking your code in, and then you can see what the vulnerability or the dependency vulnerability is to upgrade to. Fourth, reason why you should be paying close attention to secure coding practices: container security. A lot of us are moving towards container architectures, and especially dealing with Docker containers. Oftentimes we are updating the code inside of those containers, but the container itself, the infrastructure, isn't getting updated. And so I'm showing you here a tutorial on how you can scan your Docker images to see if there's vulnerabilities in it, and it recommends the way to patch that vulnerability. We're always looking for frictionless ways as developers to make sure that we are infusing security into our coding practices. And that's what I'm showing you today: the 7 ways to incorporate security in a frictionless, easy way. So number 5, web security. And what I mean by that is, for all of our front-end developers, you have a important role. You are the first interface or the first line of defense as an application security stack. And one of the things I want to bring up is, on the front end, we're doing more on the front end. We have third-party marketing tools we're including into our front end. There's just various plugins that we're including into our web pages. And what I want you to be aware of is that when you're communicating with these third parties, how are you securing that communication? With the keys, are those keys inside of your JavaScript code? You don't want to have a scenario here where we're showing, a developer puts social security numbers in their HTML or JavaScript code. Make sure that you are aware of the sensitive information that is in your web application, from API keys to third-party data that you're passing to a third party. Make sure that that information is encrypted in rest and in motion. And so we're showing you here how you can test for leaks with regard to keys. But you could think about this on a broader spectrum, testing your application, your front end, for leaks. Number 6, what I'm referring to here is, we as software engineers, we have to think about denial of service attacks and how do we protect our application. What can we do as developers to protect our application from a denial of service attack? There's many things you can do. First thing and foremost, you can add rate limits. And so as you are communicating with the middle layer, the front end may be communicating with the middle layer, or the middle layer may be communicating with the back end. You can add rate limits for, if there's a certain number of requests that are coming in and it's over a short amount of time, let's slow that down. And what I'm showing you here is that if you're using Node.js, there is an open source tool that can help with automating and setting up rate limits as a developer. And then reason number 7, this is the last reason that I want to bring to your attention as an engineer of why you should have a secure coding practice, and it should be something that you're working on daily, is authentication. And so when you are authenticating using a service like OAuth, which allows this third party to control authenticating into your application, you have to set up and check and make sure that you are utilizing that service appropriately. And one thing I want to call out is, oftentimes after you OAuth or you authenticate, there's a redirection URL. That redirection URL should be explicit. It shouldn't be a dynamic URL, because cyber criminals can exploit and use that dynamic URL to their advantage. And what I'm showing you is that we have a resource, a tutorial that talks more about OAuth security, and this is all that we have today. So just to make sure that I'm recapping, in this tutorial here, we're talking about the 7 ways that a developer should be implementing code security from the front end all the way to the back end. And I also am encouraging security awareness professionals. Don't leave your engineers high and dry. It is your responsibility to make sure that they are getting information, insights that is increasing their awareness with regard to cybersecurity as an engineer. And so you can send them newsletters that is developer specific, that has best practices, best coding practices. You can Slack them information, as well as you can create a training program around testing their knowledge about code security. And that's what we do with the HacWare platform. It has pop quizzes, videos that are developer specific. And what we're doing here at HacWare, we help developers build powerful security applications with insights and risk assessments, as well as hyper custom training. And if you want to learn more about our API, you can go to hacware.com/dev. We have our API that's public online. And that's all that we have today. I really appreciate you watching this code security session. We do it every month. We are really passionate about helping busy developers build secure applications, and also helping busy developers build intelligent security training and risk assessment applications with our API. Thank you so much. You can learn more about us at hacware.com. Chat with us on Twitter at Twitter/hacware1, and have a great day. Spread love. Bye.